I truly have found a way to never run out of ideas when it comes to making songs. And not just ideas of songs, but fully fledged, ready to publish songs. I find that often if I'm strumming out on a guitar or if I'm playing a piano, I will often revert to the normal chord progressions that I'm used to playing or just that my skill ability allows me to play. And so that often can limit my creativity. But with the method that I'm going to show you in this video, it allows me to break out of that creative rut and ultimately bust through any writer's block that I have. And the cool thing is that this allows me to not only generate ideas to start songs, but I will also show you how I'm able to flesh this out into a full-fledged track that can be ready to be published for everyone to listen to. So let's jump over to my computer and I will show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is my process. I literally go to Splice. And you might be thinking, this isn't very original. You're right, it is not really that original. But my goal with doing this is to get myself out of a creative rut. So I'm not trying to delve into sound design or trying to create something like that, because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is create a published song. And so when I think about what are the highest leverage things that I can do to take something from concept to production, it's to sometimes use melody or chord progressions that other people have generated, because it'll take me out of my creative block. And so that's really what I do with Splice, is I try to find instrumental chord progressions. I'm not looking for total loops of tracks. Like if something has bass, guitar, and keyboard all on the same sample, I'm not going to use that. But what I'm looking for is, let's say, a guitar chord progression or a piano or synth chord progression, something that I can build off of, and then I can add my own guitar sounds on top of that to make it my own. But this is just sort of a jumping off point. So really what I do, there's several different ways that I can do this. So sometimes I'll go right into Splice and look at things that I've liked and put a heart next to, and then I'll sift through those and see what I want to generate from there. But other times I want to start from scratch. So what I'm going to do in this is just start from scratch. And so really what I do is I search for genres that typically have the sounds that I like. And so for me, I usually have found that I gravitate towards sounds that have a dream pop sound. So I'm going to type that in. And since I like to start with chords, really the whole rationale for why I start with chords is when I'm going to be listening through these samples, I'm going to be singing vocal melodies on top of them. And when I'm listening to these chord progressions, if it's not something that catches me in the first 2 to 3 seconds, then it's not something that I feel is going to be worth my time. And so I'm going to kind of show you this raw process. I haven't actually done this search, so I don't know what I'm going to be stumbling upon here. But in any case, I'm going to show you this whole process because I think that it's at least useful to see. So I have Dream Pop. I'm going to hit, I want to hit chords, not the minus button. And so with this, it's going to automatically sort by most popular, but the risk that you run into when you do most popular is that a lot of other people are probably going to be using that sample. So if you want to be unique, you can use some of these, because a lot of these probably sound good, hence why they're popular, but you would have to heavily edit them, add effects, downtune them, something to make them unique. But for me, I want to just start and not have to do a lot of that. So I'm just going to do most recent, because that means that a lot of people probably aren't going to be using these. Or sometimes I'll even do, I didn't just notice this, let's do random and see what happens. This is actually, I haven't used this option. So let's look, and I'm just going to see what sort of pops into my head, if I like it or not. See that? Chord progression's not really for me. Don't like that. I can already tell. So I'm looking for chords. So if something says vocal, that's not going to be it. I'm also looking for length. So 5 seconds is not going to be enough. Let's look at this. Nope, too slow. Hate that. It sounds fine, but not enough to write a melody over. Nope. Ugh. I hate all these, to be honest. And sometimes this happens, like, I know within pretty much, you see how fast I'm going through these. I know within half a second whether this is something I can write to or not. Yeah, I don't like a lot of these. Yeah, too R&B. That's okay. It's not great. Let's go to most popular, just so you can kind of get a sense of what my, because I'm not having I'm having trouble finding things that I actually like. Saying na 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 na. Falling to the rising, see the stars and then the rising, and I fall down to the running. So how? No, and I fall back down, and I know you're wrong, and I feel so bad to let you down. No. Oh, there you go. That was not pre-planned, but that's the beauty of this, is that you play something and then you just immediately start singing, and you don't have to be the best singer, right? Like, I'm not the best singer, but I can at least write melodies. And so that's really the goal. Like, a lot of this is tailored towards music producers who also write their own melodies. And I think that's really the biggest, I don't know, I think that's important for producers to be able to not only create instrumentals, but to also create vocal melodies, even if it's, even if you're going to have someone else singing on your track. So from here, I like this. It sounds very acoustic, which is, not something that I would ordinarily write over. But in any case, what I would do from there is just put that. So I would get it, because I have a credit, download it. I would typically use the Splice app. Well, I'll use the Splice app. I'll use the Splice app. We'll go to that. I should have opened this prior. Go to my sounds, and I see it. And I need to download or sync it. And then from there, I drag it in. And I see it's at 90, so I'll set my tempo to 90. And so from there, I just play it and try to write a melody. And it's hard to let you down, and I feel so alone. Back down. Then I know you're alone, and I feel so alone. To let you know that I've been loving, and then I fall into your arms. So how? And basically what I'm trying to do, I know that maybe not is the best melody, and that was probably pitchy as fuck, but I'm not like a singer primarily. So I'm a producer that happens to write vocal melodies because I think that's important. So my process from here, and something that has been very, very helpful for me, is I now have the skeleton to make a song, because most songs nowadays, I won't say most, but a lot of songs nowadays utilize the same chord progression throughout the entire song. So I can just duplicate. And so now I can write a verse melody, I can write a pre-chorus melody, I can write a chorus melody. If there needs to be a bridge, if I feel like there needs to be a bridge, usually that's more related to lyrically if I feel like I need a bridge as opposed to musically. Yeah, let's go with that. So that's what I would do is I would try to flesh out this song entirely from a vocal melody standpoint and even lyrically. And then from then I can decide what instruments do I need to this? Because my whole rationale with doing this is a very minimal process to writing music. And the reason that I like to do this is oftentimes I find that when I create overly produced tracks, it actually becomes harder to write a vocal melody to, because there might be other melodies that are being played by other instruments, and they will sort of taint my my creative process into coming up with vocal melodies. So if I just have this chord progression here, I have full creative freedom to create what I think is a very, very strong vocal melody. And like, truthfully, what I was singing before, even though I need to parse that out a little bit, I really liked that direction. And so from there, I can sort of just expand upon that and create a whole song from there. And so that's really what I do. And this is something that has really gotten me out of so many creative ruts, is just finding splice sounds. And if I want to, if this seems like too generic, I can add effects to it. Like I can add chorus to it or whatever. And certainly if I want to, add some, reverb, I can do that on an effects channel. I can add some room reverb and sort of see how that is. And just go from there. And so you can sort of craft this sample to be your own if you want to. But for me, my whole thing is I want to be able to write this song as easily as possible and not get so fixated on all these little details. And I think that this is a really good way to go about that. And especially if you're looking through the most recent section of Splice, or if you're willing to modify the sample to make it your own, so if someone else is using that sample, it doesn't sound the same. I think that's a really good way of going about doing it. So I hope this has been useful for you. I know it's probably geared more towards producers who also sing over their tracks, but this has been something that has been very instrumental, no pun intended, in allowing me to just publish more music, because I do get stuck in these creative ruts where I do feel like I'm just playing the same things over and over again when I'm playing an actual instrument. And so being able to use these splice sounds as starting points is a really good way for me to just generate new song ideas. And even though it's not necessarily a novel idea or a really original idea, I think that you can sort of turn this into an original idea by sort of modifying whatever splice sound that you are using, and ultimately not getting carried away with using too many of the same splice sounds within the same sample pack. So give this a try if this is something that you have found difficult in terms of just being able to generate song ideas. And if you want to know more about my songwriting process, just let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video to be useful, definitely hit the subscribe button. It really means a lot and just lets me know if these videos are resonating with you. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.